So tonight is a night on, it's an introduction to mastery of commitment and other things as well. And so I'm sitting here going, if Cynthia's going to be on, we could also mention the other things because I'm going, I choose to know. And then if you now announce it now, then I'll know what else I'm adding to this. Cool.
Cool. Yes. And all these links will be in the chat as we go through tonight. So, our Mastery of Commitment class, tonight's a kind of an introduction, preview, sneak peek. Yeah, just a little teaser. Yes.
No, it's
And
going to be bigger than that.
oh, even better.
I'm just saying, because the
Yay.
minute we start talking about it, the OTC, we'll talk, but it won't be a little teaser. It's going to be more like, oh my gosh. Anyway, in a good way. Go ahead.
Fantastic. And our full bloom class is on May 31st. So Tuesday, May 31st, early register is a 3-hour class from 7 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm remembering my details.
Yeah, really.
And early bird registration is 188. And so this is where we dive deeper into what Bob's talking about tonight. Also, we have some Hugs nutritional things going on right now, sessions. They're 10 to 15 or maybe a little longer minute sessions with Victoria and myself as we ask a list of questions, 10 to 12 questions, and figure out what nutritionally works for you as you answer yes, no questions and put together a package for you. So you'll get that link in the chat as well, and you can sign up for that. And I think we're good to go.
Awesome, honey. Thank you. Because I'm like,
You're welcome.
good. So welcome everyone. And if you can go visual, please do that. I see. And would anybody like some peppermint oil? Just put your hand out. There you go. And then lick it. It's very good for you. Yeah. Thank you, Minnie. She's got a maxi bottle of whatever. Whenever I say Minnie, I sometimes go maxi as well. All right. I'm going to go back. I'm going to build a story of how I came to this understanding. In the 1800s is my joke. Victoria was doing classes with Helene and I back then. When we first taught our mastery of commitment, Helene and I, we just got married pretty early on. Who knows? So I'm going to say the first class was probably 87, 88, maybe. No. We got married in 86. Yeah, 87, 88, something like that. But this is the one in, go ahead, what?
89.
Yeah, it was what you did. But the first one we taught was at Carrie Lindsay's place, Highlands Lake Conference Center. And so it's a big, huge building with a stage. And Helene and I are on the stage. And we're on it with each other. There's an issue. And so she's on one side of the stage and I'm on the other while we're sharing master commitment. So can you get a sense that we had a charge up, but our commitment was stronger than our charge? In fact, when I got married, Helena was not speaking to me. Something happened. She wouldn't talk to me and we got married. I think that was her way to say, look, if I get really strong and reactive, are you going to run? No, I ain't running. I'm staying. But can you all imagine your beloved is over, we had these stairways going up at the Hellenic Center where we got married, and she comes down. I'm already waiting. She comes down. I got an entourage taking care of me. She's got an entourage taking care of her, but we're not talking until she said, I do, or whatever. I mean, come on, that's called commitment. Anyone? It's not like I love you if I love you when. All right. So we began in our like Helena never slept. I mean, she slept once every 3 or 4 days. So her living commitment was to be intimate, completely clean of stuff. And since she didn't sleep, I got to match that. I would sleep 1 hour a night for the first year and a half, 1 hour a night. And then my classes were 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. because we didn't get to go to bed until we're completely present. And let's just say that I know I had a lot of stuff to work on in intimacy, and she was happy to help me work on it. Anyone? How many know what I'm talking about? I'm a guy and she's a girl, and we were different. And all right. So we started to get to this point, and this is what I found was that how many of you found a reactive pattern? How many, like in my word made flesh, how many know if I can find up what's up, like lack, if somebody's struggling with lack, their outcome, their greatest weakness should be their greatest strength is value, prosperity, abundance, and supply. There's no other way to play the game. You can't get by and make do. And how many have been committed to making do, getting by? Anyone? It's really important you get that. And so, and what I'm going to do is have all of you, if you have ginger root, take ginger while you're riding along with Carlin. It'll help you with the movement. And just kidding, honey, just kidding. All right. So, so what we found out, and this is big. I mean, that's why it's going to be more than just a teaser. What we found out is any reactive pattern like fear when love turns into faith. That's what I'm about. I've been about that forever. When we found codependence, we right away early on studied that, like, oh, you know, when my happiness is dependent upon another person, place, condition, or thing. And Carlin, I'm going to have you just listen in and not be on video, if that's okay, until you have something to share. Because I mean, really, it's so subtle. Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for being with us, Carolyn. I love it. So what we found out is in codependence, I was already in this game for decades. So in 86, I started in 68. So we got it figured out. So what I'm doing in codependence is, what does it turn into? That's my deal. What does this turn into once it meets love, once grace lands, once I make a new choice? And we had independent for a year and a half, independent something, and it never worked. And one morning, I just remember, I think it was in my closet, and I went, oh, codependent turns into co-empowerment. So the minute I said it, I went, Helena, co-empowerment, that's it. So a year and a half of really working on what does this turn into? Codependent, co-empowerment. We went depend from co-dependent to no, it's co-empowerment. Oh, that's the reversal. So what we started to wake up to, and especially for me, I started to see that when I work with people, if they have fear, grief, apathy, repeating pattern, codependence, dysfunction, how many have ever noticed some of that in others? Notice why I'm being tricky with you right now, yes or no? How many went, well, yeah, me too. Well, okay. So how many have ever noticed, and this is what the event's going to be about, is having a glitch, having a dream, hope it happens, and then it didn't. How many ever had a couple of those? Had a plan, relationship, a building, a home, a career, friendship, community, and then it didn't happen. Anyone? Okay. So us too. And we noticed a lot of that stuff going on in a repeating pattern. So I finally went to all my own repeating patterns. Oh, and then they did this. Oh, no. And then they did this. Oh, no. And then they did this. And I started to realize that my one finger pointing out had three fingers pointing back at me. And I was the common denominator. How many are willing to explore yourself as the agreement to the limitation of a repeating pattern? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So how many notice in our current administration, there's no ownership? Let me come up with 55 reasons. It's like, just own it. Anyone? I mean, know the truth that sets you free, not, well, they made me do this and that. I mean, it's human nature. I'm not going to say right or wrong. It just doesn't work. So what I started to do was realize that if somebody had if I had a repeating pattern, I was committed to it. I call it an other than conscious commitment. Now, how many have ever made a commitment and kept it? I said I'd be there, I'm there. How many have ever said I'm going to be on time? I'm on time. How many ever said, I'll pick you up at 8? I'll pick you up at 8. How many have been a parent and gone, whatever my personal life is, it's over because I am now taking care of my family? Anyone? That's their commitments, and they live in us, and they're actually a quality of our Creator living in us. And I'll talk about that in a minute. So what I realized, I started to see, I'm high visual and high visionary, I'm going to say for myself. And when I worked with somebody, like in reading in the eyes, and anybody that studies bio-optical holography, I started to see through the contraction into what the strength was. I mean, it became a fact for me. If somebody had sugar imbalance, let's say, I knew they were here. That's grief, pancreas and adrenals, grief, sugar imbalance, whatever. I know that they're here for massive joy. That's what they're here for. If somebody's got fear, they're here for massive courage. The bigger the fear, the stronger the courage. If somebody's struggling with lack, they're here to revalue themselves into their full value. Even now, how many can feel, whether you're doing it or not, but how many can feel a little bit of pulling away from what I'm saying about value? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyone else? 6, 6. All right. What I mean by that is, how many of you have settled into, oh, maybe I'm not worth what I really desire to receive in honor, respect, cash flow, whatever? How many have talked yourself out of less than? Anyone? All right. So if you can imagine, we've got value. I wrote a couple down: relationships, success or loss, plans, friendships, anything in codependence at all, where something outside of me can take my heart away, my plans away, and self-value. Any repeating pattern. This is what's important. And maybe the first time you could get it, that's my choice. Any repeating pattern has one common denominator: us. And if I have a charge about my repeating pattern, how many have given up your dreams just because 2 or 3 times your dream left? 1, 2. Okay. Now, and how many have had to battle and keep yourself below going back to your dream, or dreaming again, or choosing again? So now, do you get, wait a minute, this is not good for us? And those that know the system, ask, seek, and knock. When I ask, please and thank you, Creator, give me. When I seek, energetic, mental energy, I seek, and I knock, physical action. Ask, verbal request; seek, mental attitude; knock, physical action. Do all three, we get a response. And that response is delivered, period. Well, I don't see it. No, it's delivered, period. And it goes from the unseen into the seen by I walk by faith, not by sight. Now, I didn't know all this back then. I didn't quite, might have said it, but I didn't get it. I didn't know that any burdens that I had or anybody else had were unclaimed and unrealized and unagreed to blessings. And so how many have had burdens? How many had parents and loved ones who had burdens? So what would happen if a burden is just an energy package of a blessing that was delivered and never acknowledged, agreed to, received, because the person didn't see it, instead of I walk by faith without needing to see it, and turn it from the unseen into the seen world, from the invisible to the visible? What would happen if everyone, now add that to what I'm doing, codependence into co-empowerment, high agreements, those things, those that have studied this already. So this master of commitment is all about understanding that a repeating pattern common to each one of us, if you have one. And I'll do this. How many have had a repeating series of things that you thought it was going to go good, go good, go good? Oh, it didn't go good. It didn't go. Has anybody experienced that? More than once, more than twice, more than 3 times, more than, yeah. Cynthia, I see Cynthia Langefeld is on twice. I love that she signed in under you. That's so, you sent her the link, right? She's so good. So funny one. And there's probably a way to change it. Anyway, so I'm looking, that's not Cynthia that I know, but oh, we have another Cynthia. Okay. All right. So now, other than conscious commitment, spinning vortex, to have anything of limitation exist, we have to agree with it. What? To have anything of a limitation, limited belief system, how many know it's birthed by God? Yes, and it's fully charged with life force from God. Nope. Most of you are going, what? Eileen is, I don't think so. No, a limiting belief system has to have someone with life force built by our Creator, whatever name you give it, feeding the limited belief system. Hello. How many of you are going, I've got 71 limited belief systems. This one's really hungry today. Now this one's hungry. And the way we feed is I can't, I want, I need, should, and they never, and I not. And how many have ever growled to keep a thought form alive? I remember I did a class in Seattle, and a woman faced issues, and I helped her do that. And she goes, I said, did you just growl at me? Yes. How many are prepared to be coaches when people growl at you? Hello, get ready. I'm just letting you know. All right. So now, so here's my story about this. What I found is that repeating pattern first has a commitment. Other than conscious, we not consciously go, I commit to failure. Nope. But the repeating pattern says there's some agreement to have this unconsciously happen over and over and over and over. Why? Because inside of, I get ready for this, and this happens, I almost have that, and then I get close to that, and then this happens, all these good things, and then all of a sudden, and it goes to the toilet. And how many, for a while, hesitated? And I'm not going down that road. That ain't happened to me. Talk to the hand. Talk to the hand. I ain't doing that. Not going to go down. No. And then eventually, oh, it's looking good. Maybe I can do it. Oh, I think this is awesome. I think this is really good. Oh yeah, anyone? It's how many can relate? So let's take this one. And this is why one of the reasons I'm here. Me too. How many have stepped away from that dream to a lowered frequency dream? Anyone? And then how many had similar, but not quite as big? How many had, no, same thing, pulled away again? Anyone? And then pulled away again, to the point that we don't do that. I just don't dream that way. That's no big deal. I'm satisfied where I am. I'm completely happy right here, staying at home, doing what I'm doing. The job, I'm going to stay in it for this number of years, and then I'll get a pension. And, anyone? Come on. I mean, look at some of our politicians that are there for 80 years, not doing anything. Obviously, they're tenured, like a professor or teacher who gets tenured and stops being a good teacher. It's not all, but some. So now what this is about is getting the fire back in our belly and going, all right, I'm going to name my repeating pattern so it can't sneak up on me anymore. How many love the idea of knowing the moment? You might need 2 or 3 steps of the repeating pattern. Oh, I know what's happening. Oh, like anybody that I work with now, and they know the scale of emotional harmonics, they know that if they start moving up scale, the scale down scale goes enthusiasm, pain, anger, fear, grief, apathy, unconsciousness. And then if they settle out, they go to a smaller or pseudo level of enthusiasm. I'm pretty good now. Pain, anger, because once you start downscale, it's a slippery slope. It's the mortal coil. The result is death. And how many have gone down a couple octaves? How many have from as a child? How many were enthusiastic? Anyone? Like, yeah. How many said, shut up, don't pretend, stop, act? Come on. How many got in trouble because they couldn't shut you up? How many did what you chose by just hiding, hoping your parents drank enough alcohol? That was my situation. They didn't really care. Got it? And they're just, just don't let your mother know. That's what my dad would say. Yeah, because he was scared of her too. All right. So now, again, how many get maybe it's time, tractor beam of life pulling us back up scale? Well, how many are going, all right, I know the poop's going to hit the fan. So I can feel now, I'm starting to hope again. I'm starting to get a dream. Maybe it's going to work. Oh, no, but I don't want to do. Oh, but I choose to. Oh, I choose to make this fun and easy. I'm going to use my tools. I love, I touch, I breathe, I stay, I feel. Good. All that works. We're sharing it, teaching it works. But how many love the idea, just like in studying the eyes, where we go and we write out exactly how that other than conscious pattern has happened in the past? So we know every tentacle of it. That's what we're going to do in this class, level 1 of it anyway. It's a big picture. So when I first got this, just to give you a sense of it, I somehow got it. So I'm with people. I've been in a number of classes. We taught our first master command, and back to when Victoria did it, back, that time frame. I somehow just understood. No, what you do is, then what happened? Well, I got close, and then what happened? She said this to me. Then what happened? My dad said this. Then what happened? Then, and they write it all out on this paper, like an outcome map. And then when they see the whole thing, they kind of go, and the committed, reactive, repeating limited pattern is in there. And once somebody sees that, know the truth, it sets you free. How many have been with people that you finally go, I know you're a sleazeball. Come on. How many have ever been with people that were pumped up and looked really good and they weren't? I got it. And Leanne Rafferty, anybody know Leanne Rafferty from, no, anyway, she took over her father's big, huge cattle ranch. And so she's teaching me from Facebook all about cattle and everything. And she had these great people come in to their help run the place at they call it cow camp or whatever. Then they stole everything and took off. And that was their modus operandi, these people. And so, you know, she tracked them down, and that's what they've been doing forever. They should come in shiny and they leave in a sinister way. That's what a limiting belief system does. It needs to be fed by us. So I'm going to give you a trick. If you're feeding a thought form that's not, that you haven't proven to yourself is clean, or a relationship, if you're giving all kinds of energy to it, like, oh, this is the best thing ever. Oh, stop. The scriptural statement, not religion, the scriptural statement is, thou shalt put no false gods before me. So, all right. And again, let's let it, if the energy, the person, the situation, the offer, the career, whatever, if it's got its own life force, it is self-generating. It doesn't need you to agree with it. How many going, oh, how many can see now, if you fed it, the life force that you gave it can control you for a period of time. When you stop giving it life force is when the situation collapses and you're left with less. So how many like to be as wise as a serpent and as loving as a dove? So how many have ever walked the trails or whatever and stopped in your tracks, looked ahead and saw, let's say, a snake? That we have a reptilian nature. You know, we can be a reptile until the last little bit of gestation, and then we turn into a human being. So how many love the idea of waking up our awareness, our discernment, and to go name our reactive patterns so no one else can get fed by our reaction? Talk to me. Where we can go, so if I'm going to have a relationship, it's going to be a win-win. Not, I'm going to give a whole bunch and let them do. No, it's got to be a win-win. In other words, any relationship that's going to live has got to be equal. I'm going to call it even Stevens because my last name is Stevens. But anyway, it's got to be equal. It's been said all divine relationships are 13 acres, 3 acres overlap. 3 acres overlap. And we're responsible for our 13 acres. They're responsible for their 13 acres. And the overlapping is called the Vesica Pisces, where we give out more light than the sum of the parts. That's two beings who are sharing equally. And yes, some may do more one time and one. Well. So now let's talk about a commitment. How many of you hesitate to commit? Quite a bit. And I'm going to redefine the word. The word commit means to come it. I'll share this one. I got it up, I believe. Let's go find it. All right. W.N. Murray from the Scottish Himalayan Expedition in 1951. This is one of my favorite quotes on something. See you all. Hello. I'm committed to seeing you all. Thank you very much. All right, cool. So until one is committed. Now, please just get with me on this just for a minute, because my outcome is tonight you wake up your divine commitment. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, a chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. So let's just start with that. If the word commit doesn't mean to step and forward out anything, it means to come it, to bring it. So are you getting now? Oh, no. Until one is committed, until they're bringing it, there is hesitancy, a chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Water. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, There's only one elementary truth. And this is so true for me. That's what I'm sharing. The ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, the very instant one commits, no plan B, just plan A, then providence, capital P, creator, God, then providence moves to. The moment we commit, I commit. No, it's not out, it's in. I commit, I bring it, I am it. Then our creator, our providence moves to all sort. This is the very instant we commit, the universe commits. There is no outside universe to say yay or nay. There is no outside universe to say yay or nay. As we think in our heart, so are we. How many have dreams coming back online right now? And I'm just going to just honor them. And what I'm going to share about commitment here, I'll give it many, many more times in classes. Some people say, well, how will I know what commitment is? Here's what commitment is: the sperm and the egg. Sperm from dad, egg from mom. Unless your dad can get pregnant. Whatever's going on in society today. Hello. Anyway, so right now, can you imagine the sperm and the egg, these tiny little microscopic things, chunks of creator through your dad and through your mom, are still rebuilding all of us, rebuilding our form. We're still rebuilding our form moment to moment, day by day, cell by cell. Can you feel the commitment of your father's life force and your dad's life force on through your lineage, on through your ancestry to you, generating the temple of the Most High Living God for you to experience what you're here for? Now, we can simply go merge and agree with our spiritual commitment, which is again living. And it took mom and dad to do that. So concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is only one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That's one of the reasons I'm here, is let's get them back on deck. That the moment, the very instant, the nanosecond one definitely commits oneself. Then providence moves to. At that very instant, the moment I commit, the universe opens and rearranges everything to deliver. I'm going to say it again. The moment I commit, the universe rearranges everything to deliver. It starts delivering the second I commit. And look at the word commit. I rebring it. I recommit. A whole stream of events issues from the decision. I'm going to say choice. Decide, insecticide, suicide, pesticide, genocide, decide means of death. So instead of decision or incision, I'm going to say a whole stream of events issues from the choice, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance that no man could have dreamt would have come his way. Why? I have ways, you know, not of them, they're beyond finding out. You know, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and its righteousness. That's a commitment. And the moment we do seek ye first, it's not religion, I'm talking law. Seek ye first, your heart's top number one directive, and take action. It's righteousness, right useness, right action. And all else shall be added unto you. What? All else shall be added unto you. What? Why? How can that be? Because the moment we step into faith or into grace by faith, faith and grace merge, and we're supplied with everything we require because we've entered grace. And then he goes on to say, I've learned a deep respect for one of Goethe's couplets. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Faith with works. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. We are at a crossroads for our humanity. I could have said this many years, have said it many years. That this is as big as I've ever seen it. And I prefer not to see it go out of greater extreme. I say, let's all wake up. But even more than that, I'm committed. I commit to my thriving world. And I have to do it first. And what that means is I bring alive in me my highest choice. Anything less than my highest choice contains within it self-sabotage. Independent of proof from the environment. I'll choose this if, I'll choose this when is a failure pattern. So if my heart says thrive in this way, serve this way, give this gift, become this, act this, whatever, do it. Take action. The moment we walk in the faith of that one step forward, our universe moves. Providence moves. So one of the ways to know if you're committed is if you have a plan B. Well, if this doesn't work, how many? Come on, talk to me. How many have done this? Me too. I'm just saying. How many have ever, can you hear it? Can you hear it in your own word or sharing and whatever? Well, if this doesn't work, when we can do it. And then, well, if this doesn't work, we can do it. And then if the moment we say that, not good. So I usually read this story from a martial artist it's probably in this handout. And I got it online, honor him and where he got it and all that. But he tells a story that he tells his students. So I believe it was Japan, two tribes were warring with each other, and one tribe found that the others, which is bigger than they were going to attack them. So the chief of the tribe gathered together all the warriors, which is a smaller group, and sailed in at night to the other bigger tribe that was going to attack them. And he said to his leaders, go burn all the boats. What do you mean? Go burn the boats. So there's no retreat. Now, how many have been leaving a few boats floating out there? So do you get, if I have boats floating out there, am I committed? I'm not saying, be wise and I like boats. I have 4 vehicles that all have winches on the front. Winches? Sorry. They have winches. I get that screwed up sometimes, but because if I ever get stuck, look, that's practical. I make that up. I'm talking to myself. I'm okay on that one. But how many, like right now, I'm here. We're going to do this thing. We're doing this thing. I am this thing. I am it. So now and I'm giving you the lightweight, yes, a teaser, but how many can feel it's a little deeper than being teased? So let's go back. We're already being built by divine commitment. Without having to do a thing, our body, our temple of the Most High Living God is regenerating itself according to what we let happen. When we sleep at night, we're cleansed so we can get up in the morning. We're constantly being refreshed by the commitment of our Creator. What happens when we commit and agree with thriving? The moment we commit to thriving, everything in opposition to thriving shows up. Why? I used to think that was terrible. Anybody else? Me too. How many say, I'm not going to do that again? I made a commitment to this, and all of a sudden it happened. Let's play smaller. He or she who seeks to save their life, lose it. I recommit. I play anyway. And so let's be about what energy is. So a limited belief system to stay alive requires someone feeding it. I'm not enough. I can't. I want. They never. She didn't. I'm doing what I have to do. I really don't like my job, but I have to do it because I have an other than conscious commitment that says I'm a turd in the punch bowl, and therefore. All right. So now if I go, I recommit to my clean punch bowl. I recommit to doing what I love to do. Anyone? Talk to me. Now, why do all those, we stop feeding the illusion? It's going, knock, knock. What about me? Hey, what about me? You said fear. You said, I recommit. And then we get stronger and stronger and stronger. Only the thing about commitment is it's already, and that's what the class is a lot about. Our commitment is already funded by our Creator, our divine commitment, our highest choice. If we play smaller, we have to talk ourselves out of our true spiritual nature. We have to become deficient to become deficient. What? How many get, if you're deficient, you had to talk yourself out of, or let something else talk you out of your sufficient self into deficient self. So when we recommit all those beliefs, thoughts, experientially in our life, what we did, genetically, how many have a couple genetic patterns that might knock on your door? How many are doing a service or being a certain way in life because that's what you do? That's what I learned, and no, that's what we do. Well, do you ever go skydiving? No. How many would, even now, I'm not saying that's one you should be doing, but how many have ever said there's certain things I do and there's certain things I don't do? Like some people dancing on a dance floor. Have you ever seen the people that just, I don't know how to dance, and I'm not going to go there now, Jenny. Come on. How many have, now find ours, me too. How many have got something in you that I just don't do that? So the moment we commit, we stop feeding the illusion. That's what I'm going. You better be able to map out. Here is every one of those clunky little things that I don't even want to admit. How many have, well, I get excited about that, then I almost do that, then I get really close to this, then this looks really good, and then, oh, they say yes, and then all of a sudden, they're not even there anymore. How many have something like that? More than once, more than twice, more than, again, that it's a commitment, and other than conscious commitment. How many like the idea of, all right, I recommit to thriving. I recommit to my highest choice. And I understand ahead of time what's going to knock on my door is every one of those patterns. They're not knocking on my door saying you can't. They might say you can or I can't, because that's what we program that energetic to say back to us. Those are our words, either that we spoke or that we fed that somebody else said. So if all of a sudden I commit to thriving and I hear, you're not worthy of thriving, from the thought form, you're not good enough, that my other than conscious commitment would include, I am not good enough. So I'm going to write that down. I'm not good enough. I never have enough support. I'm not smart enough. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough genius. I don't have enough tools. I don't, whatever. How many like writing it all out instead of being alive in it? Writing it out so you can actually see it. And then here's the magic. This is what it takes. That's what I want to say, level one, master commitment, because it's going to take a bit of time. Once somebody draws this whole pattern out, it looks like a paisley. If you've ever seen paisley, that's usually the shape of the pattern. I learned early on in the I Am discourses, paisley is not something to wear because it's the shape of a limited belief system. And I was like, no wonder I like it. I mean, and back then, and how many know it's like little fractals, little spins of thoughts and whatever. So we're going to draw this little paisley thing out. And then every one of those tentacles, and I call them OTCCs, other than conscious commitments, flip over once they meet love and commitment into our conscious creative commitment. Every tentacle is actually waiting for agreement over in our conscious commitment. And I mean, I would get so excited when I first brought it, and maybe Victoria can share what happened back then, because I choose to remember my progression and when you did the class. But I would get so excited when people drawing out, they'd be going, they were in the past merged with their limited belief system, and I could see it flipping. What else you got? And then what happened? And then what happened? Then I get this, and then I get that, and then I also have that, and then this stuff here to get that, and then this, and then. And then when it's all drawn out, I know that flips over here. It goes from this counterclockwise vortex, does a hydrogen flip into this one. You add essential oils, pure essential oils to that. The essential oil helps it do that flip. The universe is for us. God is for us. Life is for us. So these limited patterns we've got so that we can master them. A limited pattern is not who we are, it's just where we are. It's actually where we were, because I am that I am is where I am. And I've already been looking at your history as if it's who you are now. That's like driving with your eyes in the rear view mirror. So now, can you imagine writing down 2, 3, 4, maybe 6, maybe 12 of the issues and the patterns? And then, when you have enough, you'll be going, that's it. Anything else? That's it. And then go, well, what does this turn into once it meets grace? Can you imagine naming your limited belief system and your other than conscious commitments and let them flop over without effort? You'll know my grace scripture, not religion. You'll know my grace. It's because it's without effort. Let the weak man say, I am strong. Let your other than conscious commitments meet the commitment living in you that's been generating you all your life. How many like agreeing with your divine, conscious, creative commitment? Will you be able to struggle anymore? No. So struggle. What about me? What about me? I choose to make this fun and easy. I don't know what I don't know. I'm confused. I choose to know. God in me knows. If your God isn't good enough, Google it. Anyone? Now notice the amount of rubbing and itching and digging, arm holding and joy returning. I know how to do this. I know how to do this. There's more, but those are the ones I just saw. Free period. Go ahead, dig and scratch. Get them done. Get them done. All right. How many had some? It's on video. We can go back and play each one of them back. No, just kidding. But do you get your body language is also working now that we've got my Word Made Flesh version 2 brand neutral? You can go on my left shoulder, right, that you can begin to add information to it. So now, again, how many have ever chosen abundance and had more bills show up in your mailbox? How many have ever chose harmony with your partner and had a blowout? How many have ever, I could go on and on, but I'd rather not. So now do you get, all right, so the reason it's coming up is it's asking to be reshaped or agreed to, so you go back down scale. We are the parent of our other than conscious belief system, or we are the adoptive parent. How many of you adopted thought patterns of your loved ones, your family, your friends, your mom, your dad, your social? Cynthia, what was that nose wrinkle? What was it? Go ahead. And the right side of your nose wrinkled more than the left. What was that?
A hand raise is the answer to your question. How many of me adopted repeating patterns from family members? Because
so now you'll all know when you get to that repeating pattern, because the nose will wrinkle up a little bit, and I'm and the repeating pattern on the family members that I've been feeding as an adopted. How many know there's a little bit of a charge?
I'll growl now.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. So now when we lay all this stuff out there, this takes courage, kids. Well, how many go, I choose to thrive? Well, now that's not quite enough. It's good. I commit. And what we're doing is I bring it. It's not a forward. It may move you forward, and it does. That's why I've got these certain ways to evaluate if it's it or not. I deliver that once I'm ready for that, so I'm not going to give it now. But how many get, I commit, I recommit. And just, that's it. I commit to doing this. And plan B and C and D and E and F will not, well, yeah, but what about? I commit to this. I commit to, you become singular focused. What you put your attention upon, that ye become, and it has to be your highest choice. And how many go, I don't know what my highest choice is? Cancel. I commit to my highest choice, whether I know what it is yet or not. Well, I know what it isn't. Draw them all out. Not quite that. He didn't, she didn't, they didn't need to put them all out there and just go, this is a pattern that I can watch flip into the opposite. Our counterfeit shows up before the truth. So how many have been struggling with something in your life in a repeated pattern? That thing you've been struggling with is the opposite of who you are. And you will not be able to stay small to be who you are. You have, and you already am, I am that I am. You'll have to give up the internal dialogue and the self-denigration and the other than conscious self-sabotage commitments and replace them. I mean, it's a lot easier to replace a pattern than to quit it. So what the conscious creative commitment does is it lets us know what all that pattern, genetic and experiential, turns into. And you'll have to give yourself permission to be made new without a clue what you're going to have. You know your commitment, but now however it's going to happen, that's not up to you. What? Yes. When? How? No. When? No. You identify the destiny. That's the what. God says, I'll figure out the steps. That's a how. And take time off the table. Comments or questions, anything? Mic yourself and wave. And please join in. That's what it helps me find out where we are. Yes, Don, go ahead.
So I have a question about this process. I've been reading your book and working with conscious language. You mentioned that challenges would arise that, well, they challenge us, but do you find as you're working through this and as I'm working through this and as I'm being rewired, would I potentially need more sleep or feel more tired as a result?
Oh yeah. Yep. And yes and no. So how many, like, it's fascinating. I've been doing all kinds of changes in my life for the last many months. And so all kinds of new stuff's going on in my, so I'm having to play in a whole new way. So Don, what to know is, like, if somebody has tiredness, do you tend to resist being tired?
Yes.
So that means that's the OTC goes, I won. OTC won, conscious creative commitment, 0 on that one. So the key, the trick for me is to let it be okay. You choose to rest. So now say, I feel tired.
I feel tired.
I choose to rest.
I choose to rest.
Now, if tired, how many have ever said, oh, I must be getting tired? No, your body may be saying rest. So now say, try this. Say, I'm rest in action.
I rest in action.
I am rest in action.
I am rest in action.
Say it again.
I am rest in action.
Notice it's doing something, yes or no?
Yes.
What's happening?
I feel myself dropping down more into my heart and expanding.
Cool.
There's a resonance of truth with that. There's something inside of me. My great self knows.
Great. So great self knows. Great self knows. Anyway, so I'm with you. So now, do you get everyone as we start to go through a metamorphosis? The beta mind gotta have to, gotta. The fight or flight mind gotta have to, gotta. The ergotropic sympathetic nervous system, that begins to quiet down. We may go, oh, I'm starting to get tired. Maybe I'm starting to go into parasympathetic and resting. And when I go to breathing, like for me, I sat, and it was funny. I was going, I require a nap before whatever tonight. So I set my alarm on my phone and I'm in my chair in the other room. And I close my eyes, I take a couple deep breaths going, well, that was good. I'm talking, maybe 30 seconds. Yes. And I'm ready to go again because I had to, whatever I was planning, I thought, oh, I must be getting tired. So, I set it for like an hour and I better turn it off because that was, a few seconds later. I learned that about driving. Sometimes I'm driving a long way. It's just me. And I pull over. Sometimes it's a minute. Sometimes it's 5 minutes. Where I don't have to do something. My being goes back to parasympathetic instead of fight or flight or gotta or compulsion. And I rest. So now do you get, Don, that maybe you're starting to activate parasympathetic higher brain function, creative, where we don't have to do, we don't have to do to have to be, we yes. Be and therefore do and have.
And there's worth in being, not just in the doing.
Well, I'm going to say there's only worth in being. Instead of I do to have to be, I that's a breech birth. I be to have is my thing. I be and then I do and I have, and then Scooby Dooby Doo is the fast way to put all that together.
All right.
Oh, awesome.
I love your humor.
Well, my daughter would go, Dad. So anyway, I'm going to say there's another person that likes it as well. All right. Anyone else? Comments, questions, statements? That's it? Go ahead, Dawn.
The other day, like you're talking about stopping with the fear, I always would have, and the patterns were always, the example is that we had a problem. We went to buy a vehicle for my husband, and then all the paperwork wasn't going right, and then all this and that. And so my mind actually goes, okay, this always happens. What do I need to do? And then I would think the patterns of, oh, okay, well, if this goes wrong, I need to do this. And if this goes wrong, I need to do that. And after your last one, I was like, going, forget this. I am tired of doing this every single time, getting frustrated, feeling down. No. And I just started saying, I touch fear with love. I touch fear with love. I touch fear. And I kept going like now. So
Yeah.
I cried. So I cried. And then all of a sudden it was just like peace. I didn't worry about it no more. All I said was like, I see that we go, the paperwork gets done. We go to the next thing that gets done. We go to this. He's got the plates. We're going on with life. Just, I kept my mind going like that. And everything went that way. And I was like, going, see, it does work. You know it. And it's like, because my oldest son is like going, oh, this is a bunch of BS. I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. You have to work from inside you, because it's a lot of rethinking, getting rid of the bad, and knowing that, yes, you don't have to be negative all the time. You are a better person. Learn how to do it. And it was so nice to feel that peace and go, hey, I don't have to worry. I don't have to feed that fear no more.
How about instead of I don't have to, I am confident
I am confident.
and I serve my courage. I feed my courage.
I feed my courage.
Beautiful. And remember the
Good.
decree.
Right here.
Yeah,
Good.
beautiful. The decree. How many have ever said this always happens to me? That's the statement. Never freaking say.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. From here on, grace always goes before me and prepares my way.
Grace always goes before me and prepares my way.
That's the conscious language decrees. If Cynthia, will you share reading through my word made flesh? She's making sure everything's right, and so she's going through reading. What happened is you started the 50th time you went through all the decrees to help edit and proof it. What happened?
I started moving up scale. So my job was to proofread periods, capital letters, those types of things, going through my word made flesh. And I'd get to the first decree and I'd read it and I felt it. Get to this next decree, I read it, and I got slower and slower with it until I had to finally just turn off my feeling part and actually read them for punctuality and all those types of things, because I was feeling them, just moving up scale. I heated up, I got warm, all kinds of things were happening. I was like, I have to stop and focus on exactly what's going on this page rather than what's going on inside of me. And I could go back later and read them and feel them again and again and again. And I read through them hundreds of times. Yes.
And about how many are there?
Hundreds.
Yeah. Hundreds of
yes.
times. Yes, hundreds. Good. And
Yes,
so if somebody goes,
months.
so what do I start with? Just read through the decrees on the right-hand side of all those pages.
Yes.
I mean, and when you find one, that lit me up, stay with that one until you feel the meaning in each word deeply enough. Now, conscious language, thank you, dear. Conscious language decree, these are built with every word that lives. That's one of my stewardship in what I'm doing here. And so if you can imagine, instead of I never do this, I stop doing that, I start doing this, I always do that. You start to say what is versus what isn't. That's the rule. And then if I go, well, I'm not feeling well, I choose to feel great, but I'm still not feeling well. Cancel, so I'm saying to that. And then I could simply say I'm not feeling well and always leave on the screen, I choose to feel great. Always leave on the screen of life what you choose to have resonate forever. Can you imagine now the building out the OTCCs other than conscious commitments does something. It turns what was operational in a hidden format into an aware format. It's no longer other than conscious. How many have ever been doing something and you found yourself saying no to a yes? So how many went, oh, how many have ever said, it feels, I feel. It feels, I feel. We just did this today a number of times. So I'm going to get, that means we're going from unconscious to conscious. Conscious denotes love. Unconscious denotes less than love. So one way to evaluate a conscious commitment is it increases love, energy, support. All right, so this particular class is 3 hours. It's work. I'm going to get that. This is where you're going to, I'm going to stick with you. I'm going to help you. Most likely you won't get it all done at that 3 hours. Well, you'll have enough that once you write it all out and you'll go, oh yeah, there's a little bugger. I'm gonna stick that in there too. And you stick where it is in the flow of the pattern. Now, as you're sticking them in there, what's happening is you're desensitizing your agreement with them. And you're beginning to go, oh yeah, because when this flips over there, oh, you stay, I love you just the way you are. I want to do this and this and this and this. How many realize the moment we do this, me too, we start to move upscale. When I did this in class way back in the 1800s, and Victoria, do you remember what it was to write it all out? Did I do a whole bunch of dramatic stuff? I choose to remember. Can you share what that was like for people to finally get it?
When I found my notebook and I opened up all the deep dive writing and outcome mapping, and I've been looking at it for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I am remembering nuggets. I am transforming to this day because of taking out my book of commitment. I was able to deep dive and find pieces, and just going through my notebook more writing in this notebook than any other notebook in the classes.
Yep.
And the deep dive is deep.
Yeah. And was it, well, when I would share with somebody, it was like a person's in the middle, they're in the trenches. And so I'm helping them write it down. That's it, write it down. Then what happened? And it was almost like, I don't want to write that one down. What is that reticence? That was the thought form saying, you can't give me up. You've been feeding me too long. I've been hungry and you fed me all this time. I'm living off you. I'm on, what is it when you get money from the government? What do they call it? Welfare. My thought forms have been on welfare, spiritual welfare. So we run along at about 14% of our full energy charge when the rest of our energy goes to feeding these limitations and letting me okay and struggling and whatever and not being too bitchy and getting grumpy now and then, but not changing them. What this does is it lays all them puppies out there. And then for me, like when I help people with the eyes and I'm the translator, when they can see with consciousness, because it's been translated, their eye, they sit, I've had in the beginning when I started doing them live because we had digital camera, I'd have people go quiet because I was sitting right there with them, but with a picture on the big screen when I was traveling. And they say, wait, I'm loving what I've created so I can flip it. In other words, I didn't have to say a word other than help them understand what it was. Do you realize that know the truth that sets you free? So be prepared, please, for waking up without effort. Commitment, yes, but not effort. Everyone say, I remember. I remember. I remember my genius. Notice there's no effort in remembering. I remember my wealth. How many of you ever walked to your car, reached in your pocket or purse and said, oh, I forgot my keys? How many have ever said that? That wasn't true. You just remembered your keys were somewhere else. Babel is the language of what isn't. Conscious language is the language of what is. Your creator is the creator of what is. So we don't have to battle what isn't. How many love that? We just flip it into what is. So if I can find my greatest weakness, all these patterns, shall be my greatest strength. Well, so inside of every one of those patterns is my strength inverted. And only love blossoms my blessings. That's what only love does. Anyone else? Comments?
Yes. I had a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so one thing you kind of already were talking about this a little bit, but I've noticed a lot of resistance. Like when I first discovered this work, I was like really gung-ho and like totally into it. And I just kind of hit a wall, or that's my experience.
Mhm.
So
With
I'm just
permission, with permission, I recommend we don't use the word resistance because it's vague. So you felt, what did
Oh.
you feel?
like I keep
Wait, I feel, wait, I'm going to show you this language. Forgive me ahead of time, not wrong. I feel like, no, what did you feel? And I'll help you. Enthusiasm, pain, anger, fear, grief, apathy, unconsciousness.
I guess apathy.
Oh, good. So now you know when apathy, when love turns into caring and ease. So you were at it's hard and I can't. That's apathy.
Right.
Go ahead. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm going to get inside of apathy, could be some resistance, but if we name it, we got power. Go ahead.
Yeah, so yes, so I have been consistently feeling apathy, and so not, not like continuing to learn or engage or like listen to your calls. And so it like touching and staying with the apathy? And
Do you choose apathy?
no,
What do you choose?
I choose so the word that came to mind is grace. Like I choose grace.
Yeah, I choose my
now.
grace.
I choose my grace.
Say it again.
I choose my grace.
Say it again.
I choose my grace.
And now say, and it's emotional, so say it's okay.
It's okay.
So it goes unconsciousness, apathy. Right after apathy is grief. Those are the tears you're feeling. You're moving up scale. Say, yo, sadness.
Your sadness.
I love you.
I love you.
Just the way you are.
Just the way you are.
So now you move from I can't and it's hard, resistance, but I can't and it's hard. You started doing this. You went to grief, sad, which is joy returning. So now you're moving up scale. You're trucking right out of apathy, girl. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. How do you feel? By the way, the question I asked her is, how do you feel? And she went, this is normal. She went straight up into visual cortex, which I ain't going to feel. I ain't going to do it. No, how do you feel?
Happy.
You went happy. So now, not wrong. So now say, I give myself permission to be happy.
I give myself permission to be happy.
On a scale of 1 to 100, how strong was that?
5, probably.
Yeah. How many? Good job. And I have so many people that they're a 5 and they go 95. 9. I'm going, no. So now, but you got it. Now I make a new choice. That's your body language. I make a new choice. Say it. I make a new choice.
Make a new choice.
So yo apathy.
Yo apathy.
You prick.
You prick.
I love you just the way you are.
I love you just the way you are.
Well, how many know that moves the needle? Because how many felt like apathy, you prick, or anger, you prick, or hate, or embarrassed? So now do you get, once you touch anything, apathy in this set, you start to care. Instead of it's hard, it turns into grace and ease. And I make sure I have this available. Because that's your me self coming online. So once grief comes up, what do you do with your grief?
Touch and stay.
Yeah, and love it. I love my grief.
I love my grief.
Or I touch many people go, no, I don't. I really don't love my grief. How about I touch my sadness with love?
I touch my sadness with love.
Voter victory, kids. This is what we can all help out. Voter victory. And keep breathing. Now say, I choose to make this easy.
I choose to make this easy.
Now I choose grace and ease.
I choose grace and ease.
Yes, I'll be having grace and ease the rest of my life. Thank you very much. Got it. And now what's happening to your sadness?
It's dissipating.
Or transforming into what?
Amusement.
And what else?
Joy. Joy and amusement.
My joy.
My joy and amusement.
My great joy.
My great joy.
My mondo way whopping huge great joy.
My gigantic joy.
Good job. So you can do it your way. It's all good. So then once you have joy, the next thing that shows up is fear.
Yes.
So you might as well, how many love? What I'm doing is showing you, if you know this happens every time. Those that have done this with me, how many did you ever notice once you found, oh my God, the next thing is that. Oh, the next thing. And then you didn't have to hang out for 19 years hiding from fear, let's say, or grief. No, you didn't. And especially if you say resistance, because it doesn't do anything. So the minute it's hard, apathy. Oh, now ease is returning. Grief, grief, sadness, I love you. And my joy, awesome. Then fear, fear, I love you because my courage is returning, my faith, my trust, my courage, assuredness, confidence. Awesome. So we don't have to hang out in fear or any of these. And then anger comes. How many excited about? That's why we'd go down scale. Enthusiasm, nobody could handle us. They might have judged us for being too enthusiastic. We went to pain. Instead of going, oh, pain, I'm getting back to enthusiasm, I did end run into you prick. You made me give up my joy. You made me give up my, they started pointing the fingers. And then nobody likes an angry person. So we go down to fear. And if we don't like fear, then we go down to grief. Oh, woe is me, sugar craving. And if we go down from there, we go to, it's too hard, I can't, and give me pizza. And if we don't like that, then we go down to what can help me not feel at all. Jenny. So now you're going upscale. Jana, yes or no?
Yes.
Into what?
Peace.
How about enthusiasm?
Enthusiasm.
Which would you rather have, peace or enthusiasm?
Enthusiasm.
Good. So notice enthusiasm is like white light. So if you put light through a prism, you get the colors. But if you put light through red, you don't get anything but red. So I'm going to get, we can enthusiastically write out our other than conscious commitments, or we can name where we are and touch it with enthusiasm and love, and it'll flip it. And we start moving up scale, start feeling more, moving up scale. So do you get, all you did is name what's up. And so what are you committed to? Apathy or enthusiasm?
I'm committed to my enthusiasm.
Good. And then what happens?
It's infectious. My enthusiasm is infectious.
Nice. I'm going to go, my enthusiasm is infectious. And then what happens?
And then I am a spreader of joy.
And what she said, top of the hand is others. She laid it on her jaw and her cheek. So she inspires others with what she feels. And she even said that, but I let her, do that. That's your body. And even now her body's going, did I really say that? Jeez, okay. So how many get? You were like 5 steps away from shining your light and living your mission in life. That's how weak the illusion is. It snookered us. It's like Star Wars, where you will open the gate now. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Anyway, that's my joke. Anyway, so he walks up and he goes, to the whatever, the guy in the white suit that's a bad guy goes, you will open it up now. How many get the illusion then going, you will have resistance and fear forever? How many are going, God-given strengths? That's what I'm going to give you, God-given strengths. This is God-given strengths. It's not driving issues. This is God-given. This is will, direction, God-given strengths, help, HELP, and beauty. So, Jana, do you realize that you just walked up a whole bunch of octaves?
Yes.
And was it difficult?
No.
That's the challenge. How many have been planning on struggle? When you said grace, scripture again, not religion, it says, you'll know my grace because it's without effort. Hello. So how many other than conscious commitments flip the moment it meets grace? We just have to design what it turns into. Let the weak man say, I'm strong.
Okay.
So anyway, and this class is the 31st May, 7 to 10 p.m. Early registration is on now. Come play. Bring your family and friends. Pick all the people in your world that you would like to have them be committed. That's a joke. Don't do that. You commit. You love and commit for yourself, and now move up scale. Cynthia, go ahead. What do you got?
Trisha had her hand up earlier as well. Oh, she changed her mind. Okay. Got it.
Anyone else?
I know we're running late, Bob, so I don't want to take everybody's time, but
Wave so I can find you.
I'm right here.
Okay,
Hello.
good. Thank you, Annie. I apologize. Good. Now I got it. Go ahead.
Hi. So I am the oldest of 5, and I have been choosing faith during this time in our history. And my youngest sister has been choosing fear, in particular in my parents' health and the choices that are being made about my parents' health. And everyone thinks I'm crazy and that I'm sticking my head in the sand and that I'm not paying attention to facts and reality. And it makes it hard. It makes it really hard to stay in faith.
Just say it again. It makes it hard. Just say it again.
It makes it hard.
Say it again.
It makes it hard.
Who's the it?
It makes being me hard.
No. Who's the it?
Oh, who is the it? It
Ask
makes
you first.
Yeah. No. It makes.
Who is the it?
I don't know. That's a really good question.
Good idea.
I don't know.
The illusion is going, oh crap. Oh my God, crap.
Yeah.
God, did you see what he did? He made her wake up. She was answering unconscious the whole time. And I don't know. Now you go, oh, I don't know. Now, so I choose to know.
I choose to know.
So now is it time for you to agree that it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks about you?
Oh, I absolutely. I mean, I
It's a yes,
definitely.
no. It's a yes. No question.
Well, it just makes it. I want to empower my parents, and
Stop. Say it again.
I want to empower my parents.
Say it again.
I want to empower my
Now
parents.
the illusion is so happy right now because you're so completely normal, snookered. The Lord, the law is my shepherd. I shall not want. The word want means to desire without ever having. So just say, I empower my parents.
I empower my parents.
Now say, I want to empower my parents.
I want to empower my parents.
Which one's got power?
Yeah.
Is her volume going up and down, or is it just, yeah, okay. Now I remember how to thrive. Say it.
I remember how to thrive.
I empower my parents.
I empower my parents.
With what?
With love.
Yeah, say it again.
With love.
I empower my parents with love.
I empower my parents with love.
I forgive my sister.
I forgive my sister.
I empower my sister.
I empower my sister.
I vote my sister's victory.
I vote my sister's victory.
And then on the inner, you can resurrect them all. How do you feel now that mom and dad are doing great? Notice the furnace of her spirit is starting to answer the question, and you're emoting into motion. Yes or no? Yes? Yeah, and your mic is on and off a little bit.
Yes,
So,
I'm sorry.
no, it's all good. And now say I'm sorry also means I forgive my sorrow.
I forgive my sorrow.
Yo sorrow.
Yo sorrow.
I love you.
I love you.
Just the way you are.
Just the way you are.
Look at that. How many can relate? Just not really.
No.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah. How about I touch my sorrow with love?
I touch my sorrow with love.
And then we start moving up scale there. So remember, I recommend on the inner, have everyone in your family have a real miracle from on high. And then you just agree with the miracle. I mean, follow your heart, do everything that's wise, all that stuff. But do you get, no, I want to empower my parents. That's the limitation. It feels, again, I feel. It feels, no, I feel. And we're moving from an it awareness to an I awareness. Yes?
Yes.
Good. Voter victory, family's victory, yes? So come play, kiddos.
Thank you.
Hi, Alana. Long time no see. Holy mackerel. She said, how do you, Alana. But I always have to practice that in my mind before I know how to say your name.
I knew you would be. I
Yes.
knew you would be saying that. But I'd actually like to reintroduce myself because we actually haven't met. This is the new me.
Yes, I understand. Anybody else?
Yeah.
How many go, hello, my name is Bob? Yeah, we knew that. No, is different. Anyway, nice to meet you.
Pleasure is mine.
All right, everyone, come play, sign up. We got a lot going on. And anyone choosing to go, I got stuff going on. They're going to ask me some questions, the answer of which, and again, enzymes, minerals, and we got these things that lubricate like I can't into I can, that deeply unwanted thought patterns and wake you up in the middle of the night into thought freedom, all these kinds of stuff, like doubt into this tincture called I trust. That's what it's all about. They work. So thank you all for being here. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.